According to the latest figures published by Johns Hopkins University, United States has witnessed more than 930,000 cases with 53,000 deaths. 105,818 people have recovered from the virus, a figure that is frequently increasing by more than 2,000 casualties per day. First confirmed case in the United States was reported on January 20th. A man in his 30s from Washington state, who traveled to Wuhan and came back on January 14th. After 3 days, on January 23rd, the World Health Organization states that human-to-human transmission is occurring, and after a week, January 30th, U.S. reports first case of person-to-person transmission, and WHO declares global health emergency. The first death due to coronavirus occurred in United States on February 6, earlier thought to occur on February 29. On March 2, U.S. reached 100 cases, and after 3 days, President Trump told reporters, "Anybody that wants a test can get a test." Then on 11th, travel ban on Europe, and WHO declares pandemic, and on March 13, Trump declares national emergency. On 16th, Trump issued guidelines that called for Americans to avoid social gatherings of more than 10 people for the next 15 days and to limit discretionary travel. And on 17th, Trump invoked the Defense Production Act, a wartime authority that allows him to direct industry to produce critical equipment. By March 19th, U.S. surpasses 10,000 cases and 100,000 cases by March 27th. And on the same day, Trump signs $2 trillion stimulus package, and, on March 29, Trump announced that the White House would be extending its social distancing guidelines through April 30. On April 1, the U.S. surpasses 200,000 cases and CDC recommends use of face masks, and Trump administration supported it as well. The April 10th, U.S. marks deadliest day. More than 2,000 people in the U.S. died of coronavirus on Good Friday, and by 14th, all 50 states report deaths. By April 20th, death toll in U.S. crosses 40,000. New Yorkers told to wear masks, and U.S. temporarily freezes immigration for 60 days in wake of coronavirus pandemic. And as of now, it reached near 930,000 cases with 53,000 casualties. Unlike China, the reports were transparent in case of U.S. U.S. is now second most affected after China. CCP still holds their 75,000 death and more than 600,000 cases in secret. The reasons for the failure in COVID resistances were: misinformation by Anthony Fauci, head of the National Institute of Allergy and Infectious Diseases, commented that the risk is low among Americans, and many health professionals initially acted according to it. Religious and social gatherings didn't suspended till the disease spread across states, even though Trump administration, through the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, declared a public health emergency, and imposed a mandatory 14-day quarantine for any U.S. citizens who has visited Hubei province in China within the preceding 2 weeks on January 31st. But it didn't went well, as more than 400,000 traveled to United States via Europe before the ban comes to effective on February 2nd. And the flights from Europe were not banned until March 11th, with hundreds of thousands crossing the Atlantic into the U.S., due to disputes about the impact on the U.S. economy among Trump administration. And many health professionals several times argued that the flu poses a greater threat, and the Democrat-induced viral outbreak politically. And from April 15th onwards, protests erupt over stay-at-home orders. Demonstrators drove thousands of vehicles to Michigan state capitol. Protests also erupted in Kentucky, Oklahoma, and North Carolina. And protests flare in the U.S. as thousands demand lifting of restrictions is going on, and these protesters will be the next outbreak victims if infected through this gathering.
While comparing with Kerala, the most successful state in coronavirus outbreak prevention, like Taiwan, revealed that if the defects weren't cleared as soon as possible, there will a second outbreak like in Hubei and Beijing will invade the United States. After the first US death, reported on the 6th of February, it took 58 days to reach 10,000 deaths and it took only 9 days to jump from 10,000 fatalities to 30,000. Cited that, as late as the 8th of April, 5 states had no social distancing rules and 3 others had rules for only parts of the state. Unfortunately, the US will have the flu epidemic and the coronavirus epidemic at the same time. But the people are not ready to understand the situation, and the IJA representative warned that second wave of the novel coronavirus will hit the US with even more difficult ramifications than the current coronavirus crisis that has already claimed more than 52,000 lives and infected over 930,000 people in the country. Like any other successful government in COVID resistance, Trump government did well with systems and precautions, but a small proportion of people didn't, and the 0.1% of the population puts the 99.9% in danger. And administration should take strict measures to put down those protesters, otherwise the second outbreak will be unavoidable. And now it's the time for people of America should put their courage to take 14 days of home quarantine, irrespective of COVID positive or not, and lockdown should impose throughout the states, and no schools and gatherings more than 5 people till the 1st of June, irrespective of cultural, social or religious. And essential stores can be opened, food and medicals only for a particular schedule, till the 1st of June, and the one who go outside should take necessary precautions. This is the only way to prevent second outbreak of COVID-19.